Yeah, we're actually down at Rab's spot. Garrel was just up at the top. It's a lovely morning. It's quite cold actually. It's very, very still. But we're going to just have a look at the glen here. There's a sort of Penkill glen comes down from the castle. It's quite steep-sided, and they've done some felling. I don't know, probably about a year, 18 months ago now. It's quite tricky to stalk this one with clients because it's really awkward. There's some quite steep bankings and that. We're going to struggle with the sound this morning actually because it is flat calm, but we're just going to go up the glen. The wind's kind of blowing across us, so we should be alright. Should suck it down there. Been a couple of roebucks, young roebucks, just coming out onto the crop on the edge here, so we're going to go and have a look and see what's happening there. But particularly, there's been quite a lot of damage, a lot of frame damage to the larch. Some young larch trees on the edge of the forward track, and there's a buck really smashing them. So I want to go and try and find the culprit and see if we can sort that out, because that's good. He's doing a lot of damage. Basically just generally have a look, bit of a recce, see what's what. But there's been some real nasty mists rolling in as the sun comes up. It's quite cold now from what will be hot, and you can start to see the mist rolling in, so we may get fogged in, but we shall see what happens. Badger. Badger. Come through there. Okay, so just to demonstrate why, I mentioned earlier on it's quite tricky to bring clients in here. I mean, the vegetation is a nightmare, and we've basically just had to do the north slope of Everest to climb up, scramble, crawl, fall over up this bank which is sheer below us. But the problem is when they were harvesting this, the forward track come in on this side and they couldn't even dig a gully out to work across here, so they then had to come in from the bottom. So there's a forward track across the top which we can stalk, and it's awkward enough when you're on a track. And then it picks up a forward track down in the bottom there, which goes down to where we set off. So the only way you can stalk up the glen is crampons and ice pick. It's alright for the dog, she's got 4-wheel drive, but we're still on 2-wheel drive. She's got low box as well. So we take a minute to get our breath back, and then we're now going to work along the ridge line. The mist is coming in, the low clouds coming in, but we can still see. Benefit of the thermal now is we can look into cover from up above. It's a huge game changer in terrain like this. There's a roebuck up above us. The dog was indicating on the bottom of the tracks. We knew there was a deer there, but the steep bank goes up and then it plateaus out, and we were down in the bottom. So she's picking the wind up over the corner of the bank, and it actually did just come to the edge and look down, but was not happy at what it saw, and then it decided it was not a good idea and barked off this way somewhere. So we might come across that a bit further on. But there's a nice glen now which we've not disturbed. We've made a bit of racket getting up here, but there is a bit of breeze coming down now. And there's quite a steep glen just in front of us, which we're going to work slowly to, so hopefully there'll be something in there. There's not a lot of deer movement this morning, but it's kind of one of those still mornings where deer just couch down, and if they're couched and not moving in this ground, then you know we ain't going to see them, so we need that movement. But we're getting into the area where there's been a lot of frame damage by some bucks up here on the edge of the larch, so hopefully one or two of those lads is meandering about causing mayhem, and we can find one. I think there's some oxygen around the corner as well.
This is why you should have range covers.
Stalk up the glen. There's not a lot of frame damage down there, and it's really thick, it's hard going. I've seen a couple of deer. Really tricky, I mean the conditions are against us, but we're now getting into the area where there's an awful lot of frame damage. There's some larch. These young self-seeds that are on the track are really being bashed around by a young buck. So this is his patch, so it's just about that time of day when you kind of expect a youngster to be patrolling. We've got a little bit of wind, so we're just we're probably at the end of the glen shortly, but so this is where he's most active, so we're going to just carefully go along this forward track and just see if we can catch him out. And everything today is in the deer's favour. It's just flat calm, you can hear a pin drop, the mist's rolling in so it knocks your visibility. The only thing we've got, a thermal to a degree now, comes into its own because you can actually see into the murk a little bit. So she seems quite interested up here, so I don't know whether she's picking some scent up, but so this is his patch, so we'll see if he's about. There's a couple of rows feeding. They're just literally over this next lip. This is going to be really tricky because we're going to be so close to them. It's flat calm, but there's no other way really to approach him. Try and get up above them, which is going to make too much noise. So we'll just see what happens. But there's a couple of rows literally just around this corner. See, the problem we've got is that easy shot. It's only 100 yards to a young buck. That's the one that's been doing a lot of damage, but I've got no safe shot. But set the rifle up because I was just hoping he would come forward and give me a backstop on the mound there, or maybe he'd just work into that. In fact, it's still there, so he might still do it. So I'm going to hold fire because it's fraying. he may well work towards us, and if he goes into that bank in there, then I've got a shot from here. Okay, so while we're waiting for the buck to move, we're getting eaten alive by the midges, which are now starting to get quite bad. Okay, so here's the thing then. We're 15 yards from a little roebuck that's been causing a lot of damage after a cracking stalk. Absolutely nothing, no margin for error, so very slowly get the rifle on the stick without making any noise, and then get the bipod stuck on the binocular harness on my back, so I couldn't get the bipod on. So after several attempts of rattling around and banging and dragging, and Rab very kindly unhooked my bra strap, at which point the buck had thought, well, that's not a good idea, and bugger off. But that's what's good about stalking. Frustrating. He's doing a lot of damage as well, this one, so it needs to go. It would have gone this morning. Should have gone this morning. Ridges are lovely, absolutely lovely. It's only really notice them when you stop and you're trying to just wait.
And do some filming.
And do some filming. And my, she's still looking down there at something. But ordinarily, without being eaten alive by a midge, I would probably have stood and waited back there, because I thought that buck was going to do what it did, which eventually it's worked down and come round, and we would have had a shot from where we were, but it was not possible to stand there under that level of midge. I'm just going to look down here because she's just indicating. So that's, I think we're going to sack it now, to be honest. I mean, this mist is rolling in, and the midges are, well, there's a little bit of breeze picking up, but the breeze is now wrong, it's going us that way. So there's a little point moving on. And I think, nice stalk, but one thing I've used him for the first time this morning. This is the infrared eye, EH35 thermal. Going to be doing a bit of a longer term test on this, so we'll do a bit more of an in-depth review when I've used it a bit more. But initially, I'm very impressed. I think price bracket is very good. It's mid-range. I like the fact that when you close down the lens cover, it goes into standby mode, and then you've got a fairly simple operation to turn it off and put it back on again. So that's a nice feature. It's compact, really fits in the hand well. I don't wear them around my neck, I wear it in the pouch, so it's really good for that. Like the eyepiece there, flexible, but again, if you don't want that, you can just move that back. But it's really handy. Function buttons are simple, which again is a great feature. You've got a dial here which basically control everything really via this central wheel, and then the record facility is just a button. All in all, really good bit of kit. Very compact, very neat, just about the right amount of weight. I like it a lot, and I do like that feature. So that puts the unit into standby mode and then opens her up again. It really just feels good. Picture's extremely clear. Colour palette, pretty standard as you would expect in a thermal, but generally initial impressions are extremely good. So I say I'll do a bit more of an in-depth review, but this is the infrared eye EH35.